Let's talk about Syria. It's been 4 months since Bashar al-Assad, the president who was in power for 24 long years, fled the country and went to his all-season friend Russia's Vladimir Putin. He left behind a country that had seen a civil war, proxy wars and destruction for more than a decade. It's a country that is not divided by state lines, rather power lines. Different groups control different regions, which means clashes are imminent. Are sectarian clashes going to drag Syria into another war? Why is Israel calling for security for small Syrian population? Is Israel looking to take control of Druze majority areas? I'm Ananya Dutta and you're watching Grey Zone. One slogan that went viral after Assad's government fell was 111, the Syrian people are one. This chant is even more important for people who know how complex Syria's population is, and the clashes of today have a lot to do with that. Like many ethnic groups in the Middle East, Druze have been scattered across the region. They are a unique religious and ethnic group. Their tradition dates back to the 11th century and incorporates elements of Islam, Hinduism, and even classic Greek philosophy. It's just a community of 1 million people, most of whom are living in Syria and Lebanon. Because of their small population, not much is known about them. Survey shows fewer than 1% of married Druze say that they have a spouse or partner from outside their religion. So you understand how closely knit they are. When you take this small ethnic group, in terms of Syria, the situation complicates further. The country has some 70% Sunni Muslims who live across the country. Shia Muslims make up around 3% of the population. A larger minority in Syria are Alawites, including deposed leader Bashar al-Assad, who make up around 10% of the population. Kurds also make 10% of the population. Apart from different Muslim groups, Syria is also home to religious minorities such as Christians, who make up 2%. And then there are Druze at 3%. The southern province of Sweda is the heartland of the Druze minority in Syria. That's about 120 kilometers from the capital of Damascus. The clashes broke out around midnight Monday. An audio clip started circulating on social media of a man criticizing Islam's Prophet Muhammad. The audio was attributed to a Druze scholar, but later he rejected the claims, calling the audio doctored. But fake news travels faster than truth in volatile regions, and that's exactly what happened in Syria. Clashes broke out with the Sunni majority sect, and more than 100 people lost their lives.
It's really not the right time for such things. By God, no. As you see, there is no activity, no work, nothing. They add burdens on us from here and there. We only want safety, so we all go to work. Praise be to God. We don't want anything.
My brother, what happened here is that I was here. I was here in the same place. I did not leave here. There were violent clashes between us and our Druze brothers. Yes, and thank God, they were resolved safely. Security forces arrived, thank God, safe and sound. They entered the area, and the situation became safe and sound. Up until now, things are fine.
On Wednesday afternoon, the Syrian government signed a deal with Druze dignitaries, after which security forces and pro-government fighters ended the clashes, and Druze gunmen withdrew from the streets. Unfortunately, that wasn't the end of the tensions. Israel attacked a target near the presidential palace in the Syrian capital. On Friday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the strike was in solidarity with the Druze community. In a tweet he said, and I'm quoting, "When Abu Muhammad Golani wakes up in the morning and sees the results of the Israeli Air Force jet attack, he understands very well that Israel is determined to prevent harm to the Druze in Syria." Israel has long seen the Druze population as an ally in the enemy state of Syria. It bases its alliance on the few thousand at home. But Syria sees Israel's actions as deceitful. one that only aims to destabilize Damascus. A Druze leader in Lebanon echoes the same sentiment.
What happened shows that there is a hidden hand fueling this conflict. The enemy state of Israel has sinister plans. Syria and the entire region is a fertile ground to implement such plans to expand its hegemony and control the Syrian and Arabic nations.
Syria and Israel's relationship has always been hostile. In the last decade or so, ties have complicated further due to proxy wars. Assad was being supported by Russia and fighting the US. What Russia is to Assad, the US is to Netanyahu. Reports arrived that Israel played a big role in ousting Assad last December. And it makes sense, because Assad's departure makes room for Israel to advance its forces up north and also peddle its propaganda against an Iran ally. It has already illegally occupied part of the Syrian Golan Heights along the border and has been regularly bombing Hezbollah strongholds. Some Israelis have called for taking control of Druze majority areas in southern Syria, claiming that would create an alliance of minorities across the Middle East, which will be then in favor of Israel. A move like this can not only destabilize Syria, but also the Middle East. We have seen this every time Israel tried to encroach others' lands. Syria began with chants for democracy, but today it's a battleground of identity, power, and proxies. The fall of Assad didn't bring peace. It exposed deeper fractures. Ethnic and sectarian divisions are now the front line. Foreign players like Israel frame their actions as solidarity, but it's actually a strategy. The new government of Hayat, Tahir, al-Sham can hold the fort for only so long. Syria's history has taught it better. A leader without elections always fails. It takes time, but it fails. I'm Ananya Dutta, and you're watching Grey Zone.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.